Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, brought to you by the great folks over at Zephyr Epic. You can use promo code Hockey Season, capital H, capital S, all one word, Hockey Season. That will get you $5 off your order at ZephyrEpic.com. That is ZEPHYR Epic.com. If you choose to shop online, you can enjoy, like everybody in Canada, free shipping on any order over $50. That is Canada-wide.
Yep.
But if you don't want to shop online,
there you go,
and you're one of our local listeners, you can make the drive out to Surrey, or maybe you're already in Surrey. Surrey, they have a retail location that you can go check out at Zephyr Epic. That promo code Hockey Season, capital H, capital S, is also valid at Zephyr Epic. You go there, you scream if you're Faber.
No, we talked about this. There's no scream. People are screaming at the cashiers. Nobody. You got to stop screaming at the cashiers at Zephyr Epic. I gave you bad information a little bit ago on the show. Please don't go in and scream at the cashiers.
No, you can play this part of the podcast.
Yeah, don't do this. Don't go, and no more screaming. They asked politely. No more screaming at everyone.
Chris, you can't keep coming in here and screaming at everybody. Speaking of screaming, in the chat here, the YouTube live chat, Sniper847 said, I just found out my speakers were way too loud. I'm just imagining someone at work and then they have me screaming through their work computer.
Yeah, no.
Everybody looks over like, what the hell? What are you listening to? Yeah. Anyways, Dave Quadrelli alongside Chris Faber.
Hey, we can kick things off because I went out to Zephyr last week, like you said. We got
Are you
some
gonna
boxes.
let me intro here?
We got some cards.
Are you gonna let me do the intro here?
Well, how far are we gonna get away from the Zephyr stuff?
I hardly even said your name.
Okay.
How do people know who they're listening to? Do we still get new? Like, do you think there's anybody out there that's like, I'm gonna check these guys out?
Shows are getting more and more listeners.
But are those return? Like, people must know if they're coming now. They must know who we are already, right? Actually, you know what? If we have a new listener, let us know. I'm curious because I feel like we make too many inside jokes and whatnot. That like we've had listeners for years that are the same listeners in the YouTube live chat. You know, if you're a first time listener, especially if you're on the YouTube live chat, be sure to shoot us a note. Does this tea have caffeine in it? Because I'm buzzing today. I am buzzing. Getting over a little sickness, as you heard on the podcast that we did over the weekend from Young Stars. Getting over a little sickness. Had a little tickle in the throat today. So you made me this tea, and it is delicious.
You're talking about getting a tickle today on the Patreon as well. You're talking about you're going to Amsterdam soon.
Well, I'm
so
going
you're
to
excited about it,
and I didn't know. Anyways.
No. We're not doing it.
Patreon.com/Canucks combo. $5 and $10 tiers gets you
when Lisa,
all the bonus content.
Lisa loves when we go off the rails. She said even this is going off the rails real quick. Yeah, no, let's get back on track here. Zephyr Epic, the good folks over there. We got packs. You can open yours first. We're opening the 2022-23 extended series. You brought it up, Zephyr Epic, promo code Hockey Season. No yelling at anyone. I went in there the other day, timed myself, pulled some cool cards. I got an Owen Power throwback Young Gun card, a signed Dylan Strome main stage signatures card. I had some good pulls the other day. So there's a lot of options in the set that we're looking at right now. There's a lot of Kuzmenko rookies in here, a lot of different ones. And you got one.
I got a Canuck insert.
Nice.
It is not. These are just nice looking cards. These are like the thick. These are nice.
Oh,
you can feel it.
What?
You can feel it. The Black Diamond. These are new in the Upper Deck Series 2, correct?
Yes.
Or these are the extended series, right?
Yeah, extended series is like the third set that comes out.
These Black Diamonds. I got a JT Miller.
Oh, it looks good.
This taken moments before. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to make a Colin Delia joke.
No.
But this, JT Miller. Also, shout out JT Miller. Best golfer on the Canucks yesterday at the Milford event. Took some time to chat with media.
I think I have his partner here in my pack as well, because I saw a Canuck on the back here. They got a lot of all-star cards in here, which is kind of cool. And I've got Ilya Mikheyev's very first Vancouver Canucks card.
Oh,
so that's fun.
Nice.
And was he not partnered up with JT Miller?
Do you mind if I take that home?
Sure, yeah. Take it away from the kids that we give it away to.
Well,
jeez. Come on, man.
Speaking of which, if you're in Victoria, if you're on the island, well, not on the island, we're busy. If you're in Victoria or shortly close to Victoria, because Faber's not driving, if you're close to Victoria and you don't have the opportunity, we don't usually take ferries to bring cards to our listeners' kids and our listeners who want to get cards from us. If you're on the island, shoot us a message. We'll make some trips. We like doing that. You came to Coquitlam, my neck of the woods.
I had a great deal the other day with someone. I was giving out some cards to some kid. I got 6 beer out of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
6 beer.
Oh, I'm going to sneeze here.
6 beer?
I'm going to sneeze here. The sun's out here. Hold on. This shows.
Oh
yeah,
boy, can we mute his mic? I don't know what we're
I'm gonna
mute your mic.
I got a comment. No, it might not come. Oh, that's even the worst here.
Okay,
don't clip that.
I do want to say, I do want to say.
Oh, it's there still. Never mind.
You cutting me off the top. You know who's collateral damage of that? Our dear producer.
Yep.
Aaron Bordato. Who I was just talking to about the Atlanta Braves. You didn't like that. No. You didn't like us talking baseball. Off the top.
You guys are little baseball freaks. I'm not doing that on the show. I got to give a quick shout out again. Remember I put out a call for energy drinks? I said just bring me them.
Just bring me your energy drinks.
Shout out to XS. They brought over a barrel of these things.
Mm-hmm.
A barrel of them. They brought them to me and waited in the lobby for me because I had to pick up Harm. He took 45 minutes to come out of his door there. He's packing the stuff. He wasn't packed when I got there. But XS sent these energy drinks. No sugars, 15 calories per drink because they're looking out for my health. So, yeah, that's how I'm feeling good today. And you got your caffeine in your tea. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Final thing. So I was just on the road in Penticton. We're going to dive into the young stars quite a bit. Shout out to everyone that came up and said hi. Some regular listeners of the YouTube show as well.
Awesome.
Madeleine, you've probably seen her comment anymore. It was great to run into her. She came and said hi. And Joey and Laura, we went out for karaoke with them, and just a whole bunch of other. I was giving out a lot of the hockey cards to the kids, a lot of Jack Rathbone rookie cards for the kids, Nikita Triamkin and Olio Levy rookie cards for the adults.
Oh yeah,
I don't think the kids really get the whole Olio Levy having that rookie card kind of fun.
You can't put value like that.
No,
in their
the kids probably just like,
it.
What the hell, right? So yeah, no, it was good. It was awesome to run into everyone. Everyone was really nice out there in Penticton. We had a good time.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Do you have we're pretty busy today, pretty tight for time. So I say we just dive into it. Let's talk about the young stars.
Yeah, let's go.
I already mentioned Zephyr Epic. Be sure to go check them out. Thank you, Zephyr Epic, for the hockey cards. Yes, the young stars recap. I watched all these games. I know you were gonna try and point out that I didn't watch the games. I even wrote about
it's your job.
The last game. Well, I didn't watch last year as much. I watched all these games like front to back, not doing anything else. Like it was front to back. And I have a witness this time. Liam, how do you say his last name, Aaron? Horobin, right? Horobin, at our Oilers Nation. He helped me yesterday. He was my clipper. He really helped me out. Aaron, you can just let me know in our private chat here if I said that right. I hope
there's Madeline right there.
Yeah.
The Rathbone card.
Rathbone card is going on her fridge.
There we go.
She said.
Awesome.
Okay. Off the rails again. The Young Stars recap. We talked about it on the weekend, and I'll try not to repeat too many of the points that I brought up over the weekend.
Yeah, because I've been listen. There's been some people I've been talking to in the industry, or they said, "Oh, we listened to Canucks Column for the first time." 16 minutes of goalie talk. Are you kidding me? Whatever. I'm not the only one saying this stuff, and we'll see from our poll results later. Nobody wants any more goalie talk on this show. You gave them way too much.
The silent majority enjoys my goalie talk.
All right, whatever you say, man.
And to avoid repeating all the same things that I said on the weekend, which apparently I have a habit of doing, a few people have pointed out. In the spirit of that, I will try to keep it brief. All I want to say is that in that game against Edmonton, I was very impressed with Nikita Tolopilo.
Yeah.
Again. And look, it comes down to that the Canucks goaltending department, namely Ian Clark, has a type. Like if you are tall and you are lanky and you can go into a butterfly stance and keep your knees flush to the ground or the ice, you have a good chance of being scouted by Ian Clark.
Yeah.
And it just looks again like another project goaltender who is now going to be coming into the Canucks system completely. It's not like he's, when we talk about Ty Young and whatever, and I want to talk about Ty Young a little bit as well.
No.
But
you did enough of that.
I'll be quick. Yeah, look, a lot of people saying they love goalie talk. We got two in the user.
They're just being nice.
No, they love goalie talk. They said love is the word they used. With a guy like Ty Young and Aku Koskembo, we update their progress at development camp, and then they go off. In the case of Koskembo, doesn't really get into many games for Harvard. He should get into more this year, but in the case of Young, plays behind a bad Prince George team, like flat out bad Prince George team in the WHL. So it's hard to kind of keep up and keep track with their development because, as much as we talk about the Canucks goaltending department and everything, they are relatively hands-off during the season, right? Like they do keep in contact with these guys, but they also respect that these guys have their own goalie coaches in their respective places. Like Harvard has a goalie coach. Prince George has a goalie coach. Now, Does that mean that Ian Clark doesn't already have a pre-existing relationship with those people, or that he is forging a relationship with those people? Absolutely not. He knows what's happening to his goaltenders. What I'm trying to say is the fact that he's now going to come in the case of Tolopilo, and he's going to get to work one-on-one with Marco Terenius almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be huge for his development. And he had the big A on his pads. You called it an A-hole if he drops down. Speaking of A-hole, do you want to talk about the Mike Babcock news?
No, not on this show.
Okay. Not
you know
on
what?
this show.
There's been enough coverage around the league. If you want to tune
we
in,
got it on Canucks Army too.
Yeah, and go to an NHL podcast or show. You're getting enough. I don't care. I don't want to spend any time on that.
Absolutely fine.
From the way that people talk about him, we dealt with him as a coach or as a person, as a colleague. There's not a lot of positive things to say about this guy. And I tell you what, in this industry, you're normally pretty positive about the people you work with. Even I say nice things about you every once in a while.
But honestly, that's it. And for Ty Young, for Tolopilo, very excited to see him come and be in North America under the watch of these two gentlemen, Marco Terenius and Ian Clark. With Ty Young, hey, you pointed out his post movement, and his crease movement has vastly improved over a year. That is a very good sign for a guy who just turned 19 years old.
I'm doing a quick thing on Tolopilo, then we're moving on because we did too much goalie talk.
You got a goalie take. Okay, let's go.
Well, here's the thing with Tolopilo. You like that this guy's coming into the system because he's a prospect who's already pretty developed, right? Like he's a guy who had a very good season in a pro league last year. He's coming in. He's still really young. A lot to like about Tolopilo. I think I saw a lot of people saying this on the broadcast. Like I've seen him in person multiple times, and I've seen what Tolopilo looks like, standing up next to him. And people saw it on the broadcast. He is massive, right? Like he's absolutely massive. And that was great to see him just kind of on display, having a little bit of athleticism as well. So that was awesome. Tolopilo, he's going to look good. I think he's going to be the backup in Abbotsford for this year. Obviously, the big name, we'll touch on it right off the top, Aiden McDonough. He gets the 3 power play goals in the tournament, scoring a power play goal in each of them. Just that shot was like, there was nobody on the ice throughout the whole weekend who had a shot that was more powerful than Aiden McDonough's wrist shot, right? And I'm talking slap shots, point shots, everything from these folks. Nobody was shooting the puck like Aiden McDonough, who picked up 3 power play goals.
Yes. All of those goals also may bring it back to goaltending somehow. All of those goals, that was a joke, but I do want people to realize all of those goals, not only on the power play, goalie could see the puck every time. Remember how we talked about what a clear sight shot is, right? Like with Kevin Woodley, we always talk about this, how the goalie has a second to look at the puck, get set up, for the most part, give or take. The goalies had time to get set up, and Aiden McDonough was beating goaltenders. It wasn't like it was, quick one-timer got the goalie in movement. No, it was, I'm better than you. I'm going to rip this puck through you. It is going in the back of the net, one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden McDonough, I would say, most impressive player for me at the tournament. Look, we expected him.
Yeah.
We expected him to be a step above everybody else. I think what we saw from McDonough kind of fortified what we already knew, that this is going to be a good scorer in the AHL. He had really solid college numbers, which a lot of folks, like I said, from out of market have kind of looked at him and said, whoa, how did this guy go in the 7th round? We all know the Judd Brackett angle there, but Aiden McDonough, I'm very excited to see him just be as organizational depth, because that's the thing, and that's what I want people to kind of remember, is this Young Stars tournament, it's not training camp, but if you build on your strong Young Stars, if you're in McDonough with a strong training camp, guess who's getting called up? Like when there's an injury, which will happen, it happens every year, when there's an injury or something happens, guess who's getting called up? It's probably going to be McDonough. Well, what role do you need filled, right?
No, that's true. I think McDonough looked very good on the power play. I think there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to score at the AHL level on the power play. Would have been nice to see a 5-on-5 goal from him, right? But I didn't think it was for a lack of trying. Like he had some very good moves. There was that time where he did a toe drag and kind of drew a penalty that ended up scoring on the power play right after. The Canucks did anyways. I mean, he was good at 5-on-5. He was good on the power play. And just that shot, as soon as you give him a little bit of space, especially at that tournament, he was ripping it past those guys. Cole McWard, I thought, got better as the tournament went on. Played in all 3 games. I didn't really like him defensively in the first game. I know he picked up a goal and an assist and then ended up picking up a little bit more later in the tournament as well. But I thought as he went on, he got pretty good throughout the tournament. He might have been the defenseman that impressed me the most. Him or Kirill Kudryavtsev. Like we had some pretty high expectations for Kudryavtsev, not going to lie. Like the prospect, I thought he handled the puck extremely well. And by the way, I went really deep in depth in my Blackfish article this morning for Canucks Army, so you can check that out as well. Looks like my camera's lagging a little bit here. I forgot to, I'm not wired in. I just set up the whole desk and I just had to unpack all my stuff, so I apologize. But the podcast will be good for everyone. Cole McWard impressed me from the back end. What did you think of Akito Hirose, though?
Okay, you wrote about it, and I read it, and I read what you wrote. I'm not sure I agree with you. Because I don't know. It's not like there's some big disagreement. It's young stars, doesn't really matter. But you said that he was good, not great. I think I agree with. But I was still impressed enough. I think I've been pretty, I don't want to use the word vocal because it sounds like I'm ragging on the guy. But I've been pretty adamant in the fact that, yes, he looked really good to close out last season, but an 82-game season is a very different thing. So I have been pumping the brakes whenever people bring up, oh, he could be the third pairing defenseman. I don't know if he's a better option than Christian Wolanin in that spot.
No, I'm not that's what I'm saying. I think Wolanin is the guy to beat there in that spot.
Well, Wolanin, how would Jack Rathbone look if he was in that same position as Hirose, right? What did we like about Hirose? Okay, he played a safe game, made some nice stretch passes, right? Rathbone plays a little bit more dangerous of a game, probably has some more offensive upside than Hirose does, but probably doesn't play a safe enough game. So my point being is that those games were at the end of the year, and it's almost a yearly tradition to overhype the guys who come in at the end of the year when a lot of the teams aren't playing the way they do in October and November. And we know this. We watch the Canucks every year. I'm just saying maybe pump the brakes a little bit on Hirose. I don't think his Young Stars was a failure. I still think he looked a step above everybody else, as he should.
I thought he should have been a step above. I didn't think he was a step above.
You don't think
everyone.
He was a step
no,
above?
I think Cole McWard was about the same level for me. I thought Kudryavtsev, even though he got into 2 games, I thought he was about a similar level. Hirose picked up all of his points on the power play, right? If you're just looking at the stats. He led
the tournament in points.
Yeah, with 3 secondary assists on the power play. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, we're pulling up secondary assists for the Young Stars tournament?
Yeah, because I watched the game. I don't just look at the stats
he looked good. He was good.
He was good, but he's also 25 years old at a tournament where 20-year-olds should be playing.
What did you want to see from Akito Hirose? I thought he moved the puck well.
There was one drive that Akito Hirose took the puck up, dangled a guy, and went in with confidence. I didn't see the confidence throughout the tournament from him.
Okay.
Except for on the power play.
Maybe good old veteran Akito Hirose is saying, you know what? I'm going to let these guys, I'm going to pass the puck.
Yeah, I'm not going to play up to my top potential. That's stupid, Quads. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I just made that part.
Yeah, no doubt. No,
but I don't think I don't know.
He wasn't bad, and he wasn't not good. He was good, but at this tournament at 25, with people saying that he's going to be the guy on the third pairing, I think you saw enough of this tournament to think oh, maybe he's got a little bit more developing to do than.
Sure, but I've been saying that the whole time. So I thought he played as well as I thought he would. I wasn't expecting him to come blow the doors off.
I totally was. I was 100% expecting Hirose to be the best defenseman at this tournament.
Well, that's your fault.
Yeah, maybe my expectations were too high for the guy that a lot of people are penciling in on third pairing.
Are you penciling him on third pairing? Because we've had this conversation. I've never heard you say.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, so you don't think he's there, but you're grading him on this high bar that you don't think he's at.
There's potential to be there. Out of everybody on the Canucks lineup, he would have the highest potential of making the opening night roster.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Sure.
So I would expect him to be the best player on that roster. He wasn't in my eyes.
Okay, that's fair. I will give you that.
So he didn't live up to my expectations. That's
okay. Well, let's stop ragging on.
There's a lot of people talking
guys.
about Atu Ratu. I thought was really good.
I thought he was one of the best in the tournament.
The foot speed. I think a lot of people probably saw that. They said, okay, all these things that we've been talking about on this show and writing about with prospect reports. Yes, his foot speed is not great, but he really thought the game well, and I thought he was ahead of the play. And that's something that I've been asking for him to do at the AHL level. Once he gets to that point and he's ahead of the play, we're going to be looking good with him. And that's why I think you saw him have success at this Young Stars tournament, because he was ahead of the play. He wasn't lagging behind. He was ahead of the play. He was creating chances. I think that third game there, or no, it was the second game against the Flames. Or no, not the Flames, the Jets. Jeez, I'm struggling. Anyway, second game against the Jets, first 7 minutes, we see 2 scoring chances created by Atu Ratu driving into the offensive zone. And I really thought there was a lot of confidence with him on the power play. I just really liked Atu Ratu's game. And it felt like he was even kind of, keeping his shot under wraps a little bit. I did think Ratu was pretty good throughout.
I thought he was as well. Another guy.
One more that you liked, and then I got 2 that I didn't like.
Another guy I thought anticipated really well, because you just brought up how Ratu, I thought anticipated really well, and that was something that we saw him struggle with.
Good hockey IQ showing here.
Zlodiev. I thought Zlodiev anticipated really well. I wish I had a gif of it, but there was a clip that I noticed where he dumped the puck in, chased it down, was able to get it to the point, and then he immediately went into the low slot, kind of pushed off the defenseman, got open for a shot in the high slot. They didn't find him with the puck, but just the fact that he was moving around, right? Like, this is not a big guy. He was kind of moving around, and he was pulling defensemen around with him. And I just really liked the hockey sense that I saw from Zlotiev. Obviously, a guy who, admittedly, I haven't seen a ton of.
Sure.
I was watching him play, and I said, hey, there's something there with the hockey IQ, I think.
Yeah, I think with him, it's can he kill penalties? Can he, how can he be effective? Here's the situation with Zlotiev. He's got no contract to play anywhere next year. Okay, currently. He could be in the ECHL, could be in the AHL, he could be back in Russia. As far as we know, he's coming to training camp with the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, so starting Thursday, he'll be at training camp with the Vancouver Canucks, as far as we know, unless something massive changes. And Plastic was the other one that surprised us a little bit. Karel Plastic, he's got a contract. He's got an NHL contract. He's on ELC. I think Zlotiev's got a lot to work for here, and you're going to know after this training camp if he is basically a Canucks prospect anymore or not. Because if he's willing to come and play in the ECHL, he's very willing to be in the AHL. I know that for sure. And if he's willing to stick around and battle for a job and hunt for some minutes, and he's a center, you always want centers for your AHL team, because in the NHL, who do they call up when they need a forward? Especially if it's a guy who's not really exactly to slot into a spot, they're always going to call it the center. They're always going to call it the center first. So you're going to need some depth in the AHL to play center for you. That's what I see with Dmitry Zlotiev, and I thought he was great. I thought he was one of the better penalty killers. And I actually thought that little line that they put together for the final game of the tournament of Plastic, Zlotiev, and Klimovich, that's where I saw Klimovich kind of look his best, because he's a player I want to bring up here. I saw a lot from Danila Klimovich that I saw in his rookie season, where
okay.
Does he take his eye up too early and he misses it? Like, he would fan on a pass, fan on a shot. He was fanning like he was doing in his rookie season. In his second year, his sophomore year, I thought he was much better at that. Did an excellent job of just being consistent and getting his shots off. And I know he scored in that final game against Edmonton. That was good to see. At least he got one in the tournament. But
would it not look good if
first 2 days, he was fanning so much and so often. And that's something we saw a ton in his rookie season that kind of disappeared in the second year, but it came back with this tournament. I think that was a pretty big letdown of a tournament for Klimovich, who we had expectations of him to be the guy leading this team in goals, right? Like, and that's something that you could really believe could be possible, seeing what he did in the AHL last year. I didn't think he showed very well in this Young Stars tournament. He's one of the 20-year-olds that you want. You want a 20-year-old to steal the show. Atu Ratu kind of did as a 20-year-old. And obviously we got McDonough and we got
big game back.
We got all these guys that are 23, 24, these type of age players. They should be successful here if they're pros and they've done this before. But you want to see a 20-year-old pop a little bit.
Yep.
And I didn't think Klimovich had a very good tournament at all.
That's fair. Yeah, and that's the thing is, you saw when I was watching it, the things we heard about, the things we saw in his rookie season, and things that for the most part he kind of put behind him this past season. The thing I was waiting for was him to just two-hand someone that hit him with a clean hit and just go off, because that was what we saw a lot of in his rookie year, something he got in check in his second year.
And I thought he was good at times, but it wasn't like it
wasn't consistent.
No, you go through the whole tournament and he's playing top 6 minutes, something I've been asking for. I want to see that at the AHL level. But it's like they put him in a top 6 role at the Young Stars, and I didn't think he really fit in with the skilled players. And that was unfortunate, because if this kid hits his potential, there's something here with them. And it was I think it was a down tournament for him. Well, I'll be interested to see how he looks in training camp, and probably going to get some preseason games where he gets a pretty good opportunity. I think he's earned that up to this point, but still so young. I think with Klimovich, you look at him and you're like, there's probably like 2 more years of really developing his game before he can be at that level to think that he's actually more of a complete player. Like, there is a lot of time for him to develop his game still. And I think he's still so young, so there's not really a rush either. So he's got a lot of time to develop. He's going to play in the AHL for a year or 2 more. Hopefully he can hit from there and improve on a few things. But I really thought that the problem with me was just consistency. You can't be fanning on passes, fanning on shots as much as Klimovich did. I don't think any other Canuck did it as much as he did.
Yep. Yeah, he hit a post too. Corey Anderson pointed out in the chat. Tim Jones.
Oh, that was a good shot actually when he came down and ripped that shot.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
I thought Sawyer Minio outshone Hunter Brustevich. Your thoughts?
I thought Brustevich had one really good game. I believe it was either
I thought he was really good in the first one. I think that's what you're gonna say.
Yeah, the first game. Brustevich was very good in that one. And then I thought Minio, he did impress me quite a bit with his just calmness and ability to shut down passing lanes of the defensive zone, to be effective on the penalty kill. Like, I really thought that Minio looked like he looked good. He didn't make anything flashy. He made that one play to Mark Gatcombe where he set him up for that nice little toe drag. That was a really good pass from Minio there. but he wasn't flashy, and I think that's kind of what we expected from him. We expect him to be a defensive-minded guy, and I thought, he looks pretty strong.
And hey, a lot of these guys, we're going to see them at training camp. So let's move along. Do you have anything else you want to say on youngsters before we move?
Philip Johansson, last one.
Can we put the Philip Johansson is going to win the third pairing job in the NHL to bed?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to improve defensively for him, but hey, he can rip the puck. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's got tools, but this is what I want to focus on, Chris, is that right now the Canucks prospect depth is vastly improved. Yeah. The prospect pool is vastly improved.
There's some nice like 7, 8 to 12 guys. Like there's a group in there that's kind of borderline NHL, AHL. There's some good young guys in the Canucks.
You invest heavily in your development staff. They got some guys to make some pitches with here. Like they have to go do it now. The development staff, that is, and the players, of course. The onus is on the players, of course. But you've got the development staff in place now. Okay, let's see some improvement. We saw it with Danil Klimovich. We saw Arshdeep Bains develop.
Yeah.
Drastically. Who is next? Like, could it be one of these guys that we're talking about here? Because I think it has to be. I think that's what you want to see is, a guy like Philip Johansson, start to learn from all the defensemen that are on the Canucks development staff.
Yep.
Start to learn some things and get there to the point where we can talk about talk about him as a real NHL option, but I don't think he's there yet.
Yeah, all in all, pretty solid tournament. There was definitely a big letdown in that game against the Jets. That third period was a pretty tough one for the team, but throughout, I thought there was some good stuff, and I thought Jeremy Colleton, he's the right guy for that job. He's going to be an NHL coach, I think for sure.
And there's a comment here. I hate like Corey Anderson. Thank you. Corey Anderson always comments, but this is just something that I kind of thought about. And I more thought about it in the context of baseball because we're seeing it with the Yankees right now. No, listen, seriously. Corey Anderson's like crazy when you don't trade away all your picks. Thing is, this regime has traded picks, but the last regime made their picks and they couldn't develop anybody outside of the high-end guys they took in the first round. Cole Lind is kind of the example I look at and say, and clearly the organization felt the same way, something's off with the development staff down there. Like we need to start developing these guys because right now Utica ain't working. And the old regime that was down there, it wasn't working out. There wasn't any developing going on. Like that's the thing. Everybody always said, like, who did they develop? Nobody. Like they developed Thatcher Demko and that was the goaltending department.
Potts 30 last year in the AHL, 30 goals.
But now he's an AHL player, right?
But he might get some shots. Seattle
he might play some time.
Bottom six, obviously, but he's developing. That's the thing. He's developing. That's what he's doing with that Coachella Valley team down.
But now my point is, if this development staff got Cole Lind, 18 or 19-year-old Cole Lind in their system,
true.
I think things are very different for Cole Lind, and that's what I'm trying to say. Is I really think people, and I don't think underrated because everybody talks about it, but I think people really need to give the Canucks some props for how they've rehauled that development staff because it matters. Like it matters a lot. And the reason I brought up the Yankees is because we're seeing it now. The baby bombers after their success, those guys never developed. And now all these guys in their farm system, there was a bunch of horror stories from the Yankees farm system this past year. I'm not going to get into it obviously on this podcast, but just when you don't put in the time, the money and the effort into developing your guys, you can't just draft high-end guys or draft guys who you like in their draft year and say, okay, go figure it out. It took 4 years, 3 years. How many years for Aiden McDonough to get a skating coach?
Yeah, 3 years.
That was the old regime.
No, it's true. And you have to give a lot of credit to what they're doing there. I think it's been a lot different, and it was nice to see all of the Canucks management and development staff all in attendance, from the guys from Europe, like Mikael Samuelsson was out there. Heck, everybody was there from top to bottom. I mean, Aquilini was even at a game.
And that, just close this out, that is what will set good organizations from great organizations apart. Everybody can develop Elias Pettersson into an NHL player.
Yeah.
Everybody can develop. Everybody can get hit on their top 5 picks for the most part. Okay. That's not special. That doesn't make you special. What makes great organizations is developing those guys in the later rounds. Like, look at the great organizations, some of which Jim Rutherford has overseen, right? Like, that's what separates the good from great. And I think the Canucks have done a great job.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Hell of a shots in here, saying that I'm being too harsh on some of the prospects.
Famously.
Said all of the teams were a tad rusty, but what do you expect from when you have almost no training camp or drills? I'll give you that. I mean, there was definitely some rust. No, I mean, but I will push back because, I think there will be some rust with certain players. But I'm sorry, like, Danil Klimovich should be sticking out more than a second-round pick in Danil Klimovich or a 25-year-old defenseman who's played a full NCAA career, they should be sticking out more than an overage 20-year-old kid who's coming out of the CHL. Like, that guy's got to deal with some rust as well. So it's more about the players kind of coming through at this time and just showing up. I get it. I just think there has to be a higher standard for certain prospects at this tournament. Yeah. There has to be.
Sure.
Because I think, listen, because I look at another prospect on the Canucks roster, I look at Braden Bowman, and I thought, yeah, as a camp invite, I thought he looked excellent. Did he look excellent as a guy on the roster in the games? No. But as a camp invite, he looked good, but he's still just like a camp invite. Right? Like, maybe he gets an AHL contract out of things. You're looking at guys like Danila Klimovich and Atu Ratu, who you want playing NHL games in the next 18 months. So, like, you have to have higher expectations for these guys. And, man, I pump the tires of a lot of these prospects all the time, man. Like,
coverage.
I think I have to at least a little bit at times, not even necessarily be critical, but just kind of bring up what I've seen. And I agree. I do agree. There's some rust, and you can say that for sure.
Yes.
But Danila Klimovich has been in Vancouver all summer long, skating 5 days a week, he said. I mean, I get that you haven't played a game in maybe 6 months and you can get the rust from there, but these guys have to have a higher standard. I mean,
people want your honest opinion on these prospects. They don't want to just hear the fluff.
No, and we gave a lot of fluff off the top.
We do fluff a lot.
Training camp, Thursday.
Can I quickly get this in?
Yeah.
Training camp is on Thursday, but before that, Jim Rutherford, Patrick Alvin, and Rick Tocchet will speak tomorrow. We will have coverage of that over at Canucks Army. Now, I want to get this in. Pull it up, Aaron. Wyatt, I don't know if you've seen it. I was laughing earlier in the show, and I'm sure you noticed. I just started laughing to myself. But I don't know if we can get these photos up individually, Aaron. I'll give you some time to. Oh my gosh, look at Aaron go.
Look at Aaron go.
Wyatt, and sorry for the folks in the podcast. You go look at the Stanchion on Twitter or X. Wyatt did a photo shoot in the Nation Network hoodie, the same one that I'm wearing right now.
Oh, look at that.
Hiding behind a tree, deep in thought, thinking about how he's going to screw up the stand sheets to make it harder for me to edit at 12:30 at night when he actually submits them. Yes.
I like this one here. What's going on with the leaf?
Hiding. Is that a pine cone or a leaf? That's a leaf, right? Yeah. Hiding behind a leaf? Or is that hiding? I don't know what he's doing with that leaf.
Jeez, I don't know why we pay all these other models. We got one right here with Stanchi.
Yeah, so shout out to Wyatt, who obviously we've mentioned is back. For those on the podcast, I'll read his tweet. He said, no paywalls, focused only on local Canucks content. The next wave of writing talent in Canucks Nation and me. Using the wrong then and then constantly. Delightful fall photo shoots. Canucks Army is going to be bringing you the best Canucks coverage around this season.
Wyatt keeps pulling stuff like this. He may get the call up to Canucks Combo.
He may get the call up to the podcast.
Out of the ECHL and up to the bigs.
And that's the thing. We're both going to be at training camp. Live mailbags. I will tease it a little, and we should talk about this news as well. I was texting with John Shorthouse. Might do another live mailbag with John Shorthouse, like we did last year. People loved that when Shorty answered questions with me, and that just happened naturally. But I texted him again. I was like, "Hey, people want another live mailbag with Shorty and Quads." So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But also the big news of the day, somewhat big news, I'd say, exciting. Ray Ferraro and Dave Tomlinson in as the analysts alongside John Shorthouse and our good pal Dan Murphy on the Canucks regional broadcasts. Like we kind of talked about recently. John Garrett no longer in that position with Sportsnet, so everybody was wondering who's it going to be. We kind of knew it would be these two because Tomlinson announced.
Doesn't really feel like news. This feels like an announcement. Yeah.
It's official, and the reporting from Tyler Green over at Daily Hive seems to be pretty accurate because in the release, Sportsnet mentioned Tomlinson kind of as the regular guy and then said there's also going to be games with Ray Ferraro as the color commentator. And another thing in that report that I want people to focus on, not from the Sportsnet, of course, Ferraro's contract is supposed to be done with ESPN after this season. And according to that article from Daily Hive, if all goes according to plan, Ferraro will be the full-time color commentator the following year. But excited for both Tomlinson and Ferraro.
Yeah. Do we still know? Like, aren't we getting Cheech for a couple games here and there? Like Hockey Night in Canada? Wasn't that a thing that was coming?
All we know is Shorty is Cheech said that he would be involved in some Sportsnet stuff, and everybody assumed that meant Hockey Night in Canada. Hopefully, it means he gets some Hockey Night in Canada games, but for the most part, the regional broadcast team, this is what we have.
How good?
I said that like it sucks. It doesn't suck. These guys are all great at their job, and the thing I know people are going to be wondering. These guys are all friends. Like they're all pals. Like obviously Shorty and Tomlinson worked together at 1040 for years. Yeah. But like Ferraro, Murph and Shorty, they all hang out.
Yep.
Like, it's going to be that same camaraderie that made the Canucks broadcast so special. How, Shorty and Cheech had their kind of dynamic.
Dave Tomlinson's excellent at what he does. He's done stuff for the world. He's an excellent. We've heard him on 1040 back in the day. And obviously Ray Ferraro, you don't need to say much about him. He's incredible.
And just to be clear, we are all going to miss Cheech behind a mic.
100%. That's why we keep this bottle of ketchup's flavored sprinkles seasoning blend here. Trader Joe's is why we keep it here.
Yeah.
Cheech. When he'll come in here one day and we'll give him that seasoning.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So training camp is on Thursday.
Yeah.
We will have lots of content from there. Going to be doing some podcasts as well.
Yeah, we
don't
really
know how many live shows. Yeah,
schedule.
don't know about live shows.
We will be putting out podcasts though, so just follow on the podcast feed, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud.
Just going to be a little too
Carrier
hectic.
Pigeon, whatever you get your podcast from, we'll have it up there. We'll do some stuff. We got the full setup. We'll be bringing that down. So my question going into it, and I'd love to see some in the chat as well. We'll interact with those. What's the biggest story that you are excited to follow at training camp? And it's we have a poll question. We'll get to it a little bit later, but it's kind of similar.
I feel like we need to make a distinction here, because are we talking training camp, or are you talking training camp and the preseason?
I'm talking training camp. I'm talking training camp here. I'm excited, and my choice is kind of based off of that. The thing that I'm most excited, the story that I'm excited to follow, is I want to see how different Quinn Hughes is now that there's a C on his chest. Like, now that he is the captain of the Vancouver Canucks. I'm very curious to see how Quinn Hughes operates at this camp. What is he like with some of the 20-year-old kids? Like, how is he like with the vets? Are they, I just think that there's a lot to kind of see between the interactions that you'll see between the captain and whether it's a player who's new to the team, who's been here for a long time, who's a prospect and still isn't even on the team. Like, I'm just curious to see how Quinn Hughes is as a leader at a training camp, because that's something that we just haven't seen before.
Yes, and I'm glad you picked that, because I think a lot of times when we talk about training camp stuff, a lot of it gets figured out in the preseason. Like, part of me wants to say, the thing I'm most excited for at training camp is the goaltending battle. What goaltending battle? We're not going to know much based on groupings, right? The one thing I'll say, I'm interested to see if anybody comes into camp out of shape. Because similar to how we knew with Travis Green,
aside from me, I don't know.
Tocchet likes to do the 3 groups, right? I think it's going to be very clear if somebody came in out of shape, because that NHL regular will be in the final group skating with the Dmitry Zlodievs of the world, right? Like,
Jake Virtanen.
It happened to Jake Virtanen. That's the example.
Last time they were in Victoria.
Yeah, last time we were in Victoria, it was Jake Virtanen.
Yep.
Look, not to stir up any, anything, but we do know that Canucks coaching staff and management weren't happy that Andrei Kuzmenko went to Bally, right? We heard Dan Milstein talk about on Scaris and Price that he got calls from everybody and told them all to chill. The pressure's on. Like, the pressure's on Andrei Kuzmenko to be in shape.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He looks good.
Absolutely. But
see the tan that he's got? They posted some photos the other day of him. Holy moly, that guy, he's looking good.
So I'm curious to see if anybody comes in out of shape, because everybody's been talking about how hard this is going to be. There was a hard skate today. Randeep Janda was there over at Sportsnet 650. He was talking about how it was a harder skate from them today. So I'm curious to see that. Another good one here from Jeremy Lee. I haven't even touched on this yet, Chris. Last minute trades before the season starts. Both Elliot Friedman and Rick Dhaliwal at the time of this recording have talked about how the Canucks are trying very hard to make a trade. They are trying very hard to deal somebody. Tanner Pearson has been activated from LTIR. He is good to go. The Canucks need to figure something out. I believe they need to free up about $1.7 million in cap space.
Yeah, they can get there real easy with a 21-man roster, but hey, you don't want to go on the road with 21 guys. And they do that, They go to Edmonton and then 6 games?
It's their longest road trip of the season.
Like, that's not a great way to start the season, going with 21, 22 guys. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Like, I wonder if Pearson's a guy who gets sent down to keep a 22-man roster, because then you're maximizing the money there.
So,
because anybody who's making over 1.15 million, they can hit the max for how much cap you can save. There's going to be some interesting things. There's going to be some stuff that the Canucks have up their sleeve. All this, we can come in here and debate and give our ideas. There's going to be something that they do different that we don't see coming that's going to get them the most cap space available.
I'll bet you they don't. I'll bet you we know what's coming, because they don't have that many options.
Oh yeah, they do. There's a lot of guys making between $775,000 and $1.1 million. I guess if you kind of go up to Huglander there, they have a lot of guys they can shuffle around to move $200,000 here, $300,000 here.
So,
like there's a lot of options.
A lot of people have said, okay, send Höglander down.
No.
Are you cool losing Niels Höglander on waivers? Because I'm pretty sure he gets claimed.
That's why Tanner Pearson's the guy.
Okay,
Is somebody claiming Tanner
So
Pearson?
do you disrupt the locker room by sending down this guy who, there was a lot going on last year with him on a personal level?
He knows it's the business. He's not actually going down.
But in a season where you've talked about, we don't want any distractions. You don't want any distractions. You're going to send Tanner Pearson down on the first day.
Yeah, he gets it because Klimovich ain't going to be in the lineup. They're going to have him in the lineup again.
Yeah,
because
sure.
he makes the lowest money. Like they're going to have the right guy. Believe me, there's a lot of little things they can do with these monies.
Mm-hmm.
And
these monies.
Yeah.
I've been making fun of you a lot today. I'm sorry.
No, well, you've had caffeine today. You never have caffeine ever on the show.
I don't know. I think they are going to make a trade. I think that's what's going to come down to.
Is that your biggest story to follow? When's the trade coming?
Yeah, when's the trade coming? What's the answer? Like, if they send Tanner Pearson down, which I don't think they will, in the spirit of avoiding off-ice drama and all that, which they've talked about being so important, right?
Yeah.
This guy battled back and he's healthy. If
he's not reporting, he's just getting papered down, man. They just got to do it on the opening night.
But then
when the first game comes around, you do some stupid things, you move around, you got 20 guys for the home game.
Yeah,
and then you're starting to accrue cap space from there.
Yes.
So then you're good. Then you take Pearson back, and you worry about it at that point. It's all.
I'm saying the optics of putting him on waivers.
Nah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because you're right. He would have to go through waivers.
Yes, go on waivers. That. So you're literally saying, anybody, please take this guy off our hands. We weren't expecting him to be healthy. That's what you're saying. Look, you can call me negative. You can say whatever you want.
You're negative today.
I'm not. I'm honestly not trying to be negative. I'm just saying with the optics of everything.
I tell you what, I'm not putting any more honey in your tea. That's what's got you going here.
I'm just saying with the optics and everything surrounding the whole Tanner Pearson situation that we've been following for months and months and months now, I don't think it looks good to just waive the guy. I don't.
Okay. All right, understandable. No hot takes, yeah. Moving on.
Well, I don't know. Are we moving on? Because I don't think I'm done.
Okay. Well, I just think that he's the one that makes sense. Who's the other guy making over $1 million that makes sense if you can save some cap space? Because you're saving $300,000. You're not sending
Sorry.
You're not doing Teddy Bluger. You're not doing Pius Suter.
I'm saying I don't think the answer is to send someone down.
So
I think they are going to trade someone.
Roster.
I think they're either going to carry a 20-man or they're going to trade somebody. I think that's what we're going to see.
Who are they going to trade then? They're not coming after these wingers, man. You got to move a guy who's making over 1.6 kind of to obviously the 1.7 there. And then what? You're getting nobody's trading for Beauvillier, Garland, Besser without moving some money of their own out because the Canucks aren't the only team that are up against it.
Mm-hmm.
The salary cap situation, we've spent the whole summer talking about this. You're not just clearing up $6 million of cap space when you trade Tyler Myers because you're taking something back. That's the way it is. Like they don't have one of these big numbers to trade without trading something back or giving a pickup. They just can't do that.
If you retain, you're still under the cap. You're still going to figure that out. You retain on Myers, like if you retain 30% on Myers, 25%.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd have to get 30% at least on Myers to clear it up.
Yes, you would.
But then it's like, what are you getting? What are you getting right now for 30% retained on Myers? What's the team paying for $4 million Myers?
Like a 4th or 5th round pick, maybe a 6th.
Take it and run then.
Yeah, like if you get a 6th and you're retaining on Myers.
Well, I'd be curious to see if the Coyotes are looking at it like, hey, let's take Myers right now for a 7th round pick. We're gonna flip him at the deadline for a 2nd. Why would the Coyotes not be interested?
Sure. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like that's the way they've been operating.
Now you're thinking.
I've been thinking this whole time.
Now you're thinking instead of saying, "Oh, I hate Tanner Pearson. I hope he gets sent to Abbotsford."
Here we go again.
Which is what you were saying 5 minutes ago.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I like them all. I don't hate anybody.
I like them all. Okay.
Yeah, they're all good.
Prospect Tuesday. Blackfish is back, bigger and better than ever over at Canucks Army.
Yeah.
Chris, you wrote a whopper of an article, 3,000 plus words that I edited. It was fantastic. It was
you
really
missed a couple things. I had to go back in there and change. I had to edit it myself after too.
Yeah.
You kept you missed a couple Ligas in there. It was missing the G in Liga. It was Leah. Okay, Jonathan Lekarmaki. Yeah. Obviously, I think everyone at this point seen his 2 goals in the SHL, both on the power play to start. He's played 2 SHL games in the regular season now. He scored in both of them. Power play, similar way, left half wall, coming in, getting that one-timer. It's all great. Okay, that's what he does well. So I go back and I watch all of his shifts at 5-on-5 late last night. And what am I seeing, Quads? I'm looking at this prospect and watching him forecheck, and I'm thinking, I feel like I'm scouting a new prospect. Like this forechecking that he was doing was completely different from what we saw last year. And that's where I want to key in on. The forechecking was huge. I think he did a really good job of like just kind of being a little, bleep to play against. He was slashing like that little. There are certain guys when they forecheck, they slash the hell out of the back of your legs. They slash you on the stick, but it's not a slashing penalty. It's just enough of a slash to piss you off. He was doing that yesterday, and even had one play, I tweeted it out, where he actually just kind of, used some of the body as well. And I was surprised by that. There were some things that definitely let me down in Lekarimaki's game, and it's not like I'm expecting him to be this physically dominant player, but in the defensive zone, he's still getting pushed around. He's got a lot of muscle to add, but that's the thing that a prospect does at his age, right? They've got to add muscle. They got to get bigger and stronger. They got to keep playing in these pro leagues and learning. So I don't think you can really knock him for that. And he's going to have that World Juniors tournament. I say it's really good for him to start the season with 2 goals in the SHL in his first 2 games. After what happened last year, this kid needs all the confidence in the world. And I thought it was a very good start for him up to this point. So, yes, there are things that you need to see him work on, but at least the parts of his game that I wasn't really expecting to improve that much, they looked really good. And that forecheck was excellent from him. Last, I'll just quickly do a touch on this. We got so much in the Blackfish. Check it out on Canucks Army. Yanni Yermo, no points in 3 games in Liga, but he's at 66.6% with his Corsi right now down there in Liga. So he's controlling a lot of possessions, which has been great to see.
I like it. I like the whole.
I'm not wired up. I know my video. I apologize to everyone.
You know what? I'm excited.
I look like an idiot. I'm seeing myself on YouTube here.
I like that shirt. What are you talking about?
No, the shirt looks good, but I see myself talking here, and I'm like, I'm glitching out here. Well, it's better than you because the screen's 60 seconds behind here, I think. This is what you look like the whole stream while I'm talking about prospects. You're on TikTok.
Do you think maybe I'm doing stuff for work?
I don't think so, no.
You know what I'm really excited about with the Blackfish? And I said bigger, better, badder than ever, or whatever I said. Yeah, badder.
Okay.
I'm really excited because this was a listener or reader recommendation. You brought back the stats, the Excel sheet that has the stats for every single prospect. That's going to be updated every single week. It's a ton of work, but we're putting in the work this season. That's our motto over at Canucks Armies. We're putting in the work.
Okay.
Not that we didn't before, but we are pushing and we are grinding very, very hard, especially these past couple weeks and into training camp. We're very excited. Like I'm very, very excited for this season.
I'm
training
getting ripped
camp.
Here in the chat here by Sniper. I say, listen, man, start GoFundMe for my internet. Yeah, I had to unpack this morning. I got in late last night. I got to unpack and pack in the next hour. I had to unpack just for this. I got to pack up in like 20 minutes here to get ready and go again. Oh, I tell you.
This is a hell of a question from hell of a shot. Who thinks you're too negative?
Hey, come on.
What centerman?
Hell is a good guy.
What centerman, 25 or younger, do the Canucks trade for if PD doesn't want to sign? We're asking this a day before training camp, Chris. No, we're not answering it. We're not answering it. What? I love. I don't have a name off the top of my head. Do you? Like
under 25.
You're not going to give it any thought. I'm just saying this is a great question for later down the line because look, the narratives, the conversations around Elias Pettersson and his future with the Canucks, those aren't going away.
No.
Like if we're going into the off season, like there's a resolution to this situation coming at some point.
Alex Turcotte.
Really?
He's not working out well.
I don't.
Third line center, I guess. Maybe I don't know. Barrett Hayton, maybe.
Well, I think we need to specify the question. Are you trading Pettersson for this young center?
Nah, I ain't trading Pettersson for anyone.
Exactly. I'm re-signing Pettersson. I'm figuring out how you re-sign Pettersson. Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay.
And it all starts on Thursday. It starts on Thursday.
How
many distractions do you have? How does the season start for you? Do you make the playoffs? That's the big question. That's the big question facing this team. This is going to be a fun season, folks. Like, look, I know some people love the drama. We're hoping that there's very little drama and that there's just a lot to follow on the ice with this team, right? Because there are a lot of off-ice implications. And yes, in the end, there will be drama. It's going to happen.
Damn right.
But this is going to be a very fun season to follow as members of the media. And if you're a Canucks fan, this is going to be a stressful time. Like, it's probably going to be a very stressful season to follow. Like, yeah, you're going to want to see the team make the playoffs this year. They are going to want to make the playoffs. They called it a disaster if they missed last year. They missed. Okay, it was a disaster. Now what? And we will find out what tomorrow when Jim Rutherford speaks, along with Patrick Alvin and Rick Tocchet. We'll have coverage of that over at CanucksArmy.com. We'll also break it down at some point. Maybe, are we doing a Wednesday night podcast from the hotel in Victoria? Because I think so. Like, maybe. I think you might have to come over.
Yeah, I think we'll have enough to talk about tomorrow. To be honest,
in the pool.
We'll have to see about that. And yeah, I'm glad I know where they're speaking. I know every corner of that place, but don't say it. But I know where they're speaking. I'm going there.
And Corey Anderson said, if he walks, PD, You blow up this team and rebuild and draft your new center. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And look, we're not going to start talking about this. It's not worth our time. I've only talking about what we know. We don't know that Elias Pettersson's going to walk at all. We know this season matters if he signs long or short term or whatever happens with him. It matters a lot what happens this season. So, hey, folks, meaningful games in October.
Yeah. Let's go.
We're getting.
All right. Betway and our poll question. Let's get our poll question up here, Aaron. Let's see. It's related to our training camp on Thursday thing.
I got a goaltending question in the chat. I'll get to our poll question in a second.
No. Because look at how many people care about the goalies in the
odds that Tolopilo surpasses Martin on the depth chart this season. Low. Very low. Okay, low. Poll question. Let's go. But he might play a lot in Abbotsford. Okay, next. Let's go. Poll question. Our poll question, as always, brought to you by the great folks over at Atlas Goods. Go to atlasgds.com. Use promo code CC15 for 15% off your first order of pop rinds. These are the best fresh pork rinds straight from your microwave or air fryer. Get your favorite popcorn seasoning, throw it on the original. They also have a bacon flavor that you can buy from their website, atlasgds.com.
Put a little bacon jam, dip it in there.
We were just talking about bacon jam on the Patreon.
I said bacon jam is the one thing you can put on any food.
Mm-hmm.
From Frosted Flakes to a burger, anything. You can put a bacon jam will work.
Yes. So our Atlas Goods poll question today. Which storyline will have the biggest spotlight on it at training camp? Quinn Hughes as captain, Podkolzin and Hoglander, Wolanin, Hirose, and Rathbone. As always, I'm angry, which in brackets you put the goalies.
Come on. Look at how much they got.
And
you think anybody gives a damn?
Rightfully so. But this is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. I
say there's only one real storyline that we're gonna find at training camp. I think the rest of them happen in the preseason. Even the Quinn Hughes as captain is going to be a thing that evolves all season long. But at training camp, I understand you want to see it, want to see how he carries himself. You know, does he yell at teammates? Like what do we see?
The other thing is he's going to be there after every skate, every day. He's going to be speaking. Right, that's something that the captain has to do. That's something that we'll have to see. So that's part of it as well. I think you'll see a lot of this from training camp from him.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see a lot of him just having to do things that he's never done before. And a lot of that is captaincy, and a lot of that's dealing with the media and every single day. How did today go? How was today? Who did you like? He's got to talk about the team now, right? It's a different situation for Hughes, and I think he's ready for it. I've really enjoyed the stuff that they've put out already. I know we spent a lot of time on the podcast the other day talking about him heading up into the Kelowna area there. Was it West Kelowna Fire Department, I believe?
Also, Aaron, I don't know if you can find it. Pull it up in time. You pulled the Wyatt thing up fast. If you can find the photos on the Canucks Twitter account of Quinn Hughes in a fire truck, dude looked like he was on cloud nine.
Oh, yeah.
He looked so happy. Aaron, I know I put you on the spot there.
When he cracked a joke in front of them and he had his laugh, they were playing the video in the arena. Quinn Hughes is laugh going through the whole arena on the loudspeakers. Pretty funny.
He just looked so happy. And like I said, we talked about
it meant a lot.
Yeah, it meant a lot to him. Like we said, his grandfather was a firefighter in New York for, what do you say, 30 years, I think he said?
Yeah, I believe so.
Crazy. Yeah. So yes, we had that. We had the photos on the social media. I loved it. I loved it. Good. Quinn Hughes looked so happy.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so the winner of the poll here is Podkolzin and Hoglander was 47%.
But again, how much of that? Well, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. We're going to see a lot of it in training camp.
Day one, I do think that the lines mean a little bit on day one with those specific players.
And there's Quinn Hughes in a fire truck.
There we go. Happy. He's loving it.
It's awesome.
And good for the Canucks actually giving back.
Okay, I got to say this. You've met my brother, right?
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes looks a lot like my brother.
Yeah, he's got a little bit.
He does, right? I've noticed it a lot. Like, especially recently, they've got
the more they take him outside, the more they pick your brother.
They got the same facial hair, like they got the same mannerisms. It's crazy. Anyways,
wow.
Yes. Okay. Should we close it out there?
No.
Okay. Oh, Betway. Excuse me.
Betway. Let's get this up here. Betway bet of the day. Betway. Be sure to bet the responsible way. 19 plus to play. Speaking of Quinn Hughes to win the Norris Trophy this year. Over on Betway right now, you're getting it at plus 900 quads. A $10 bet, that's going to return you $100. Pretty good value, I think. Plus 900. Listen, he's not the front runner for sure. That's obviously Cale Makar, I'd have to say. But you tell me Quinn Hughes, if he's got the C on his chest now, he's playing a little bit better. He's going to get more recognition around the league, I think, just from having the captaincy of the Vancouver Canucks. If he puts up a ridiculous point season, I think people are going to start to see, he's got the C on his chest. He's playing good defensively. It's not the Canada only division year anymore. He's a guy that you can trust two ways. We know that in Vancouver. I don't know if the NHL knows that yet. about Quinn
18th
Hughes.
best defenseman in the league, according to the Athletic,
That's
or whatever it was. 12th, 13th, the third tier, or whatever. Oh my gosh, people are talking about Burt Cam. They want a Burt Cam.
Yeah, we'll get a Burt Cam here in a second. Here,
the people want a Burt Cam. I give you a Burt Cam. Let me
put
see
it over my screen because I tell you what, here my video has been rough today. I didn't normally I'm wired in.
This is a good one. So he has a bit of a habit of sleeping. Like what's that guy's name? Woodstock Snoopy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The guy on top. He has a bit of a habit of sleeping like upside down. You can't really see it on the camera, but yes.
Oh yeah, he's belly up right there.
He's conked out.
Belly up.
There we go. We got the movement. Oh, there he is.
Burt.
And he knows we're watching him because there's a different light.
Look at him. He's a star.
Oh, and he's falling back asleep. Adorable. Burt knows. He knows.
Don't you say the camera makes like a kind of moving around when you're in there?
No, it doesn't make a noise. It puts a different like it like has a little red light that goes on.
Little AI situation.
Yeah, the different light, he like looks at it because it's different than what he's watching all the time, which is like a little blue light, and then it like adds a red light onto the lens. So that's how he knows when we're watching.
All right. Well, I think we're good here.
Yes.
Hey, exciting news. Next week, we are back to 5 shows a week. I'll have my internet wired up next week, that's for sure. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're live. And I believe 1:30 is going to be the time that we're looking at, right, Quads?
Yes.
1:30 is going to be the time that we're looking at, Pacific time, obviously. Wednesdays, we're going a little bit earlier, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
For our regular guests to be able to join us there. But yeah, 1:30 on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 1 o'clock on Wednesday. So a little bit of a different day. Harmon Dial will be back co-hosting with me. You know, Quads wouldn't agree to 5 days a week, so we had to go get Harm again this year. So you're getting, I think, Mondays is going to be the new day for Harmon.
Sure.
So excited for that. And we'll announce our guest list very soon. I think maybe Friday.
Fantastic.
There's a couple things I wanted to announce it last week, but then I got all these people yelling at me here, and then specifically you and everybody else is all yelling at me. I can't announce it yet. I know the guest list. I just want to tell everybody because I'm really excited about it.
Why can't you announce it?
I can't announce it right now. People are, and everybody else behind the scenes here, they're all telling me I can't announce it yet. I got a beautiful graphic. I built it myself, and I've all this stuff. It's great. I sound like Donald Trump the way I talk sometimes.
It's a beautiful, beautiful graphic.
It's a beautiful
dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. Close it out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get out of here. So yeah, we'll be back to 5 days a week next week. We'll have some podcasts available for you guys over the weekend here as we're up in training camp in Victoria. Yes, I just seen that answered in the chat from Hell of a Shot.
Yeah.
Hell of a dip. The best dip I think out there. French onion. Hell of a dip. Have you ever had it?
I have had it. You know what? I had it for the first time like a month or two ago.
Really?
First time I've ever had it.
Back in the day, we used to get some hell of a dip, and you'd get a cucumber, and then you'd cut it right down the middle.
You know,
you would scoop. No, not like that. And then you'd scoop out all the seeds in the middle, so it'd kind of be like a little, looking like a big old green canoe.
Oh, okay.
And then you'd fill it with a little bit of that.
Wow.
And if you're real frisky, you put a pepperoni stick in there.
Oh wow!
That's next level though. I'm not doing that. That was when I was young and fun.
Back in my younger days.
Oh yeah, back when I was young, you put pepperoni stick in the cucumber and
totally
eat it. It was good. But no, not anymore. I can't be doing that. I can't be putting down a liter of hell of a dip like I used to. That's for sure. I used to give me a big old bet. You can give me a Costco bag of Ruffles and a 750 milliliter thing of hell of a dip. I'll see you in 3 hours. That's the way that I used to run back in the day. I can't be doing that anymore.
All right, we'll close it up there.
Yeah. So yeah, podcasts over the weekend, Monday to Friday, starting next week. Harmon in on Monday instead of Quads.
Hell yeah!
But I'm excited to get down to Victoria, man. I got some spots to show you down there too.
Yeah, it's exciting. We get to go hang out. Gonna be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in Whistler last year.
I once went to school down there in Victoria.
Yes, you've told me this.
Dropped out. It was one of the universities I dropped out of.
Oh yeah, you did tell me this.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm still one up on you there.
We had a good time in Whistler last year. I liked Whistler. We were in the village.
Yeah, Whistler was nice.
Remember that place we walked every morning to our breakfast place, get our wraps.
Yeah, those were really good wraps.
Those were good wraps.
Yeah, and you and I went.
Everybody was Australian.
Did we go to? We had burgers at one spot.
Oh, you were Splits Burger. Yeah.
You were so excited about it, and it was pretty good.
It was good.
Pretty good burger.
Although I gotta say, I like Splits Burger, but when I was like 10, I had it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is the best burger I've ever had. And I hadn't been back to Whistler since I was 10 up until last year. So I said, yo, this place still exists.
They told me we got to go.
We got to go check it out. It's the best burger I ever had. I don't know if I classify it that high.
No, I thought the breakfast stuff that we had in the very center of the village was really good. That little cafe there. And listen, I'm not a big. The only problem with these nice little cafes is I don't want to pay $7.25 for a goddamn freaking flat white or whatever they're serving me around there. I don't even know what that is, but whatever that is, I got to pay. I'm not paying $7.25 for a medium anymore. I'll go to McDonald's if they have it, and I'll get the dollar. I put it on the app. Boom, $1 large coffee. That's what I'm looking for.
All right, we'll close it up there.
Off to Victoria.
But first, Jim Rutherford, Patrick Alvine, Rick Tocchet. They will speak tomorrow. Like I said, coverage at CanucksArmy.com. Business is booming at CanucksArmy.com. A lot of people checking it out. We got a lot of good content up there right now. So if you're looking for more Canucks content, go to CanucksArmy.com. Read the Blackfish Report. Very well done by my dear co-host here. And a lot of other good stuff over at Canucks Army right now as well, including the Stanchies this year.
I just want to tell everyone the schedule, but I can't.
Just settle down.
No, I just want to tell everyone
the schedule. How about a guest today? Wednesdays.
Oh, my goodness.
You can tell them our Wednesday guest.
I can tell the Wednesday guest?
Tell our Wednesday
the reason
guest.
We're going early. Well,
I don't want
to just say the one. I don't want to do the whole thing.
Okay. We're going to close it out.
I can't do it.
Long episode today.
I want to tell y'all, my hands are tied.
Okay.
My hands are tied.
Okay, Chris.
By Harmon.
Your hands are behind your head while you're saying my hands are tied.
This whole episode they've been tied.
Someone joins the live show. It's, my hands are tied. Like, what the hell did I just log
on Tuesdays, some guy would come out of the damn green screen behind me here and tie me up.
Aaron would fly over. Anyways, we'll close it out.
No, it's not Aaron. He's a good one.
Aaron's a great one.
He's not tying me up or anything.
I can't even get. What is this episode?
I laughed very hard at that. I will be tying you up.
Cut me loose, Aaron.
Mid-season 4, we're all off the rails. Like first day. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll close it out there. For our technical producer Aaron Bernardo, who you just heard there, and my co-host Chris Faber.
Big show for Aaron.
Big show for Aaron. And my co-host Chris Faber. My name's Dave Quadrelli. Thank you so much for listening to an episode of the Canucks Conversation.
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?